And as we get started, the most important mask off for speaking, and you will notice immediately that I had a little accident in my shop and scraped my nose over the weekend. So I hope that doesn't present too much of a distraction. I am so glad to be here today, and I am so grateful that you are here today. This has been a long time in coming, and I know how much we have all missed being together here. And I do want to say a word to those that are not here this morning, that are joining us by live streaming. I know that many of you would love to be here as well, and yet you know that for many of you, the right choice is to continue to shelter in, to be safe, and we honor that. I know that many of you would love to be here, but you are making the right decision in continuing a cautious approach, and our prayer is that soon everyone who wants to be here will be able to be here. As we begin this morning, I have a few words of instruction that are going to apply for upcoming weeks, and please hear these as patiently as you can. We feel like that this is still a very delicate situation with what is going on in our society, and we need to continue to be diligent in observing the things that have been proven to be effective. So we are going to require masks while we are here. There are hand sanitizing stations around. We encourage people to use those as often as you go by them. During our worship time, there will be a couple of songs this morning, but we will not be doing any congregational singing. Those songs are a time for us to meditate and to prayerfully consider the words. The words will be on the screen. And then with each of the songs, there will be one verse, the second verse of each of them, where you will be invited just simply to speak those words, to read, and no one will be singing at that time. We will simply be reading the words together for one of the verses on each hymn, the second verse on each hymn. As we gather, we have a plan for how we come in, and we are using the main entrance where you entered this morning. We will be exiting by different doors. We will not be going out the same entrance that we came in. And when we get to the end of the service, I will dismiss you by pews and point out which exit door each pew will be going out. And I think that will be a fairly quick process, and I'm going to wait until we get to the end of the service to go over some final instructions for that. This morning is a special day, and I'm glad that we were able to gather. This is World Communion Sunday. People, Christians all over the world, are gathering for a service of communion. Need the gluten-free wafers. What I would invite you to do is, without breaking the seal on the wafer, just simply, when we get to that part of the consecration, just to touch your hand on the wafer. And instead of opening it and taking it, we are looking for some that might be gluten-free. We need to continue this. I always enjoyed different ways of observing the sacrament of Holy Communion. To me, there's always been something very sacred about coming to the altar. And yet we do have brothers and sisters in the faith that their standard way of receiving the elements of communion is everyone sitting in their pew at the same time taking the bread, and everyone together taking the juice. And that will be very much what we are doing this morning. And I do think there's something significant about the way that we are doing communion instead of taking time to come to the altar. I look forward to that time when we come back to the altar. But for today, we are going to be taking communion with the elements that are in your pews. It's not that difficult to open these. There are actually two seals. The top is clear. It looks almost purple with the print underneath. If you open that top seal, you will have access to the wafer, and then there's a ball seal with the juice in the cup. It's not that difficult, but when we get to that part of the service, if you need any assistance with that, if you will just simply raise your hand, our ushers will be wearing gloves, and they will be available to help you open the elements of communion if you need that help. If there is an accident and the juice spills, I believe that there are some paper towels stationed with them as well. We are trying to think of everything that we can possibly think of to get through this service. We expect there will be some glitches somewhere in the service. This is a learning time for us. We ask you to please be patient with us. If there are things that we can improve on, please graciously let us know how we can improve on things, and we will try to make this as effective as we can. And for those that are watching with the live streaming, if there are any glitches there or any suggestions that you have, we would welcome those comments as well. And our hope is that within a week or two, we will be offering services that will be meaningful for us, especially for the live streaming. What we are doing this morning is not where we ultimately want that to be. We are ordering some new equipment that will facilitate the quality of what is going out, but we hope that what we are doing this morning and for the next few weeks will provide people with an opportunity to watch our services from home. They will be uploaded to our website, and so they can be seen at any time after this morning if people do not want to watch live. As you came in this morning, there was a collection box for offerings. We will not be receiving an offering during the service. Those are there as you come in. If you want to drop your offering in, they will also be stationed at the exits when we leave this morning, and you can place your offering in those boxes as you leave. With the communion, I neglected to say this, after you take the elements of communion, the empty cup can be placed, just leave it in your seat, and don't worry about it. Someone will come in and clean those up after our service. Please try to set it upright if it is empty, and we will take care of it after the service this morning. There are so many things that we want to focus on today, but above all else, this is a day of celebration that we are able to gather in God's house and be a community of faith with one another. And I hope that you will look at this as a time of great rejoicing, that we will continue to be able to gather in this place. We will continue to take a look at the data and the numbers. Our Health and Welfare Committee was not unanimous in our belief that today was safe to come back together. There was a lot of discussion about that. And we will continue to look at the numbers for that. One of the primary things that we look at is a color code system of the number of cases per 100,000 people. The recommendation is that that color be in the yellow. And for the last month, the CAB has been kind of wavering between yellow and low orange. With that, the cutoff is 10. 10 above is orange, below 10 is yellow. The last couple of days, the CAB has been in yellow. Gwinnett is sitting right over 10.0 this morning. And so we are right on that cutoff. The numbers have been coming down for a while. We pray they will continue to go. But if anything happens and the numbers go back up, please understand we will be paying attention to that data. Prayerfully keep everything in your thoughts each day and try to do the things that we know are effective in keeping us safe as a society, even when we are not gathered together. I'm glad that you are here. There's probably a lot of other things that I needed to say that are not on my mind right now. As we go through the service, there will be, the screens will have words and congregational responses on them. And at this moment, I invite you to prepare your hearts for our responsive call to worship and for this time of prayer together.